Salutations and greetings, EgoHackers. My name is Ben, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be discussing the ENTP personality type, also known as the Rogue. ENTPs are mysterious intellectuals who are drawn to creating and innovating systems that improve the world. Often drawn to entrepreneurship or other creative fields, ENTPs thrive when they have the intellectual freedom to experiment with a variety of possibilities. Given that freedom, they will always find a way. ENTPs are also among the hardest to type because of their natural capacity to blend in and mimic the people and environments around them. They are called the Rogue because many people think they understand the ENTPs in their life, but nothing could be further from the truth. This Rogue characteristic is also what makes ENTPs successful actors, professional or otherwise. They have many masks, and finding their true identity requires a delicate peeling back of their many layers. Some examples of famous ENTPs include Adam Driver, Andrew Tate, Benjamin Franklin, Aubrey Plaza, Colin Farrell, Ryan Reynolds, and Johnny Depp. As is the case with all personality types, the ENTP lies at the intersection between a specific interaction style and a specific temperament. ENTPs belong to one of the four starter types, who excel at bringing fresh input to get projects off the ground. They are extremely resourceful when it comes to finding new possibilities to make a path forward. They struggle, however, in seeing things through. Their communication style is informative, initiating, and progression. Informative, meaning that ENTPs prefer to provide an abundance of information when communicating. They want you to pick something they say and respond to that. Though their TI parent can make them seem direct, ENTPs feel more comfortable providing more information than is absolutely necessary. If they are comfortable in their environment and left to their own devices, ENTPs can talk for a long time. Initiating, meaning that ENTPs like to go to others to start conversations. Of all the extroverts, however, they can embrace the responding role in a conversation more comfortably, but their preference is to start conversations. And within conversations, they often bring up new topics to infuse the conversation with new life. Progression, meaning that ENTPs are all about making progress. They are motivated more by taking the journey of incremental improvement and getting closer to the goal, rather than by achieving the goal itself. Progression can make ENTPs seem especially flighty and energetic. As Captain Jack Sparrow, an ENTP, said, "It's not so much the destination as it is the journey." This is the ENTP's way of life. ENTPs are part of the intellectual or NT temperament, making them systematic, pragmatic, and abstract. Systematic, meaning ENTPs are looking to create processes that maximize efficiency with every task they do. ENTPs approach problems through a logical breakdown of procedures in an attempt to create processes that guarantee success for every task they perform. Pragmatic, meaning that ENTPs care first and foremost about what works. They will push social rules and boundaries in favor of being efficient and accurate. They care more about doing something the correct way than doing something the socially acceptable way. Though sometimes unorthodox, ENTPs tend to be insightful and extremely creative with their problem solving and brainstorming. Abstract, meaning ENTPs are constantly living in the what if. They approach the world through the perspective of ideas and possibilities. For an ENTP to be maximally effective, they need to be immersed in the idea or vision they are pursuing. The concrete world isn't as real to them as it is to other types. The ENTP's cognitive functions are extroverted intuition hero, introverted thinking parent, extroverted feeling child, introverted sensing inferior, introverted intuition nemesis, extroverted thinking critic, introverted feeling trickster, and extroverted sensing demon. Any hero. ENTPs love to give other people choices. ENTPs view the world through visions of what could be. They are constantly operating in the realm of potential, offering choices, pointing out possibilities, and creating opportunities for others. Any hero is also seeking to be desirable. They want others to want them. They know how to form themselves to others' desires, and are naturals when it comes to sparking the flame of desire in others. When they don't feel desired by those close to them, the ENTP often descends into deep discomfort and hopelessness. TI parent. TI parent makes the ENTPs quick and precise processors of information. They easily spot weaknesses in others' arguments and cut through information faster than most types. While immature ENTPs are impulsive and rash with their thinking, jumping to conclusions and assuming they understand people's points of view, mature ENTPs are careful and precise with their own thinking. Mature ENTPs also mix questions with statements to verify they understand other people's points of view. FE child. The most misunderstood aspect of most ENTPs is their FE child. ENTPs care a lot about how other people feel and what other people value. They consistently go out of their way to give to others and help them feel good about themselves. FE child is very innocent about giving to others. Less compassionate ENTPs may give with the expectation of return, but most ENTPs just want to keep on giving. The TI parent of the ENTP may make them seem cold, impersonal, and unapproachable, but most ENTPs are actually deeply compassionate. SI Inferior. ENTPs are very anxious about their own comfort levels and their own strength. They're worried they don't have the strength to endure and persevere through their work, hobbies, relationships, and life. This fear makes them put extra effort into working harder to prove they aren't weak. ENTPs often overwork themselves to both get appreciation from others through their FE child, but also to demonstrate the capacity for self-sufficiency and strength. ENTPs also walk around feeling uncomfortable by default, and are extremely sensitive to any incoming experiences that involve the five senses. If they're too hot or too cold, thirsty or hungry, or any variety of tired, horny, anxious, or feeling unsafe, the ENTP feels it with extreme sensitivity. As ENTPs get stronger, however, they can push past the psychological barriers of their discomfort and endure by building up their tolerance and strength. NI Nemesis. ENTPs worry that their future is doomed. They're constantly worried about being enslaved to their duties and about not having the freedom to choose or maneuver who they please. Because any hero is so focused on other people's futures, the ENTP naturally neglects their own. And just as they are confident and capable of giving other people choices and better paths for their futures, they are unable to confidently see their own futures. NI Nemesis also undermines the ENTP's capacity for hope. Their fear of being trapped and having no choices often makes them hopeless and stuck in despair. To combat this, any hero is seeking hope from other people to ensure that there is always a way forward for them. TE Critic. ENTPs walk around thinking other people are stupid. TE Critic is born cynical and judgmental of other people's thinking. Because ENTPs try to be responsible with their thinking, with their TI parent, they assume that other people are ignorant and rash with their thinking. When talking to an ENTP, when you make statements like, "this is true," or "you're wrong," without providing additional context and evidence, your statements will go out to their TE critic, where the ENTP is unlikely to give you the benefit of the doubt, and they're unlikely to actually listen to you at all. Instead, asking pointed questions and adding additional information to a discussion will help the ENTP more easily respect you and be likely to consider your position. FI Trickster. ENTPs have no idea how they feel or what they value. They are notoriously oblivious when it comes to deciding what or who is most valuable in their life. While this capacity for believing that anything can be valuable leads them to be extremely accepting of others, it also makes them very easy to take advantage of. FI Trickster also makes the ENTP unsure of how to value themselves. They're naturally unaware of the value they provide to their jobs, families, and lovers. They can only determine their value based on what other people around them feel. When offering a service through a business, for example, ENTPs have an extremely hard time deciding what the right price for their services would be. FI Trickster struggles to determine value. SE Demon. ENTPs walk around constantly uncomfortable within their SI Inferior. The world is a constant burden that they must endure. Their SE Demon makes the ENTP want to destroy the very thing that burdens their inferior constantly, reality itself. This deep itch in the ENTP is not always active. If others are committed to keeping the ENTP comfortable, and the ENTP themselves are committed to becoming stronger, the SE Demon will slowly transform into regarding reality as necessary. But the relationship between SI Inferior and SE Demon is like this. If I'm not uncomfortable, then no one gets to be comfortable. The deeper pain of SE Demon, however, is that it is constantly revealing the ENTP's own weakness to themselves. It is challenging their strength and endurance, and the ENTP, deeply insecure about their own strength, struggles to use the demon to achieve the thing it wants most, to be the strongest, most enduring person alive. With respect to the four sides of the mind, the ENTP has ISFJ subconscious, INTJ unconscious, also called the shadow, and ESFP superego. The ENTP ego reveals the ENTP's pathway to responsibility and to maturity. Irresponsible ENTPs are casual and lazy with their own thinking, and only focus on being desirable and liked by others. A responsible ENTP, however, is committed, above all, to truth. An ENTP's turning point in life usually occurs when they decide that being insincere and blending in with the crowd is not as responsible as being honest, blunt, and truthful. However, a wise ENTP also realizes that, sometimes, their mask is necessary. TI parent is extremely potent and precise, but it's also divisive. While their TI parent will push some people away, people who can't handle the truth, developing their TI parent will also strengthen the ENTP within their SI inferior and allow them to endure longer than they thought possible. Martin Luther's famous quote captures the ENTP's path to maturity in a poignant way. "Here I stand. I can do no other." ISFJ subconscious reveals the ENTP's path to happiness. Every type's path to happiness lies in overcoming their deepest fear and transforming their anxiety into courage and competence. The ENTP is happiest when they are committed to their duty and consistently working toward increasing their own strength. The first step to developing ISFJ subconscious is for the ENTP to accept that they are weak, that they puss out easily, and that they sometimes give their loyalty to the wrong things and the wrong people. With this humility, the ENTP will become acutely aware of the small ways they are undermining their own life, and the habits they have built up that are contributing to their weakness. Then the ENTP must work toward building up the right habits, from right eating and exercise to creating and upholding their own boundaries, that will make them like an impenetrable substance, able to endure anything and outlast everyone. INTJ unconscious reveals the ENTP's path to wisdom. An ENTP's wisdom is sourced from the development of their INTJ shadow. Wisdom specifically comes from developing their NI Nemesis and, most importantly, their TE Critic. A wise ENTP can continue to give others choices and help them discover and walk their path, but a wise ENTP learns to take into account their own future and their own desires. Part of the reason NI Nemesis makes them so worried about their future is that ENTPs ignore their future. NI Nemesis is trying to get the ENTP to realize, hey, just because you go out of your way to give other people a better future doesn't guarantee that they will help you have a better future too. A wise ENTP is responsibly selfish with their desires, hopes, and goals. They learn to prioritize their own future along with giving others a better future too. The second and more important path to wisdom is unlocked through developing TE Critic. A wise ENTP no longer defaults to telling people how stupid or ignorant they are. Instead, a wise ENTP chooses to engage in helping others improve their thinking instead of just judging it as inadequate. Wise ENTPs learn when to stop only making statements and start asking questions. The Socratic method, developed by one of the most famous ENTPs in history, embodies this strategy to the core. Questions, 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 and more questions. The wisest ENTPs begin to understand when to ask questions and when to make statements. A daily practice for the ENTP to develop their TE Critic comes down to two things: listening and research. Wise ENTPs are also open to the possibility that another person might know something that they don't. They're willing to be the student. ESFP superego reveals the ENTP's path to love. The superego is the hardest of the four sides of the mind to develop. For most, the superego is developed slowly through the stages of life without obvious growth until the latter stages of life. Except for extreme cases, an orderly development of the superego requires the ENTP to develop the other three sides of their mind first. The development of ESFP superego follows the trajectory of hating reality to learning to love it. ESFP superego carries the power to either burn away pieces of reality, possibly even all of reality, or uphold reality and preserve it. The ENTP will not be able to ever love reality until they embrace the fact that without its harshness, the ENTP could never be strong. Just because an ENTP doesn't love reality doesn't mean their ESFP superego is stagnating. The first move is from hating reality to embracing it as necessary. Love can come later. If you're interested in learning the tools to develop your SE demon and understand how exactly the demon can be a force of good in your life, check out Season 29 in the members portal at csjoseph.life. We go into every demon function in depth so you can learn how to meet the needs of the superego without destroying the world completely. Eventually, if the ENTP can access their ESFP superego in an orderly fashion, they will either uphold reality and/or they will target specific pieces of reality, such as corrupt institutions, principles, or societal values, to burn down to prune the world into becoming a better place. ENTPs are often demonized for their unorthodox approach to life. Their SE demon can make them seem edgy and intimidating by default. But when it comes to their intentions, few types are naturally as compassionate as the ENTP, who wants to see others having a good future while being encouraged in its pursuit. But the wisest ENTPs don't shun or reject their edginess or darkness. Deep within, they begin to learn that those who actually value them will be with them despite how they come across. And while the ENTP can take steps to improve how they come across, they also have to learn that cheap appreciation is not worth selling themselves out to the world. The ENTPs worth remembering have guided themselves with the power of their TI parent, willing to live a life of truth and honesty regardless of the consequences. If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment down below, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content.